Today is beautiful. It has been cold and wintry and gross, but we're now towards the end of winter, beginning of spring, which is the optimal time to be pruning your fruit trees. And I actually just got back from the store with some brand new tools, which I'm really excited to be using on our trees this year. Now, pruning is essential to your fruit trees because it's going to help train the trees to get the best fruit that you want, get the shape that you want, and overall help the health and longevity of your trees. So we're going to be talking through a bunch of essentials that you should know before pruning any of your trees. And as I said, the first one is actually the timing of your pruning. You want to be pruning at late winter, early spring. This is because your trees are still in that dormant stage. You really want to be getting in there before they're starting to do any new growth. Once you prune back your trees, it's going to lead your trees into growing in the directions that you want and helping out with a lot of other things that we will get to. But if you are doing this after they've started to have new growth, then you could cause your tree to get really confused and to spend more energy in areas that you've already started to cut after they've come out of dormancy. So we want to make sure that we're really getting to pruning at the right time, which is right now. The next tip to keep in mind is your tools. Now, I love Fisher products. I'm not sponsored anyway, but I will post links to the products that I love from them. I think that they are really great tools. I love these hand pruners. This is actually my second one that I've purchased because I use the other ones so much. But you want to make sure that when you are pruning that you have a nice sharp edge. So if it is not sharp and new, if you do have a dull one, just make sure that you are sharpening that so you get a nice clean cut. And then we also have our little pruning saw here. Really nice and fun. Now, whenever you use any of your pruning tools, please do make sure that all of them are clean between the different trees that you're going from. This is because you can transfer diseases from one tree to another. So there are a few different ways that you can clean your tools. You can do around 1 part bleach to 9 parts water, but definitely make sure that you're cleaning between using your different products on your trees. Now, these are brand new, so I can go straight onto my trees with these, but do make sure that as you use them, you're cleaning between them. Really important. And if you haven't done this in the past, don't worry, it's something you can start doing moving forward. We're gonna head over to our first set of fruit trees over here. But the first thing that we're gonna wanna look for while we're pruning our trees is checking out any dead or diseased branches. You wanna make sure that you're stopping any diseases before they can actually start to go to any of the other branches. So nip those out as soon as you can. Once I've gone ahead and gotten rid of all of our diseased branches, we want to go ahead and start to think about thinning our tree. Now, it can be really scary to cut off large branches that you perceive are not doing anything wrong, but we want to make sure that our tree has really good health and we're allowing for air to circulate in between the branches. This is going to make it a lot better for fruit production, as well as making sure that you don't have any fungal infections coming into your tree. So pruning trees can be really, really scary and frightening when you're doing it, but long-term health is going to be really beneficial for your tree and your overall fruit production moving forward. For most fruit trees, aim for an open center or vase shape. This involves removing the central leader or main stem and encouraging outward growth of lateral branches. This shape allows sunlight to reach all parts of the tree, promoting even fruit ripening. Next, we're going to prune for strength and structure. So if you see any branches that are crossing between each other, that are touching, we want to make sure that we're getting rid of those branches. So we're going to choose the stronger branch out of the two, and then we're going to clip the other branch. This is important because if they do rub against each other, this can lead to infection and overall not be great for the growth of our tree. So we have 2 branches here that I can see that are crossing. We have these 2 that are pretty close to crossing, and I don't know if this is in frame, but these are really close to crossing. So you want to make sure that you're going to one of the nodes, and a node is going to be where the buds are starting. You can clip right above one of those nodes and start to train the shape of your tree here. So I'm gonna go ahead, take my clippers, and I'm gonna cut across this node over here. And then I'm also gonna clip this one over here. I have nice clean cuts, and with these, I don't really need them. If you do want to worry about propagation or anything like that, we can make another video on how you can start to propagate some of your cuttings. But overall, we're just worrying about cleaning this tree up and pruning it to have a really healthy growing season by making sure that we're getting the strongest branches that are not crossing right now. Periodically, we want to step back and assess all of the cutting that we're doing. Take in the overall shape of our tree and decide if it's the desired shape that we want. You oftentimes do want to prune for the height of the tree. I'm not 10 feet tall, so I don't want a tree that's going to grow super tall. I can train my tree to then, instead of growing height-wise, to grow out. Fruit trees are gonna want to grow up. They want to grow towards that sun. So whatever we can do to control our trees to grow out instead of up is something you can also do while pruning. Another thing to think about while pruning your trees is the type of fruit that you're growing. Let's talk about actual fruit, for example. Now, an apple is going to be much heavier than a cherry, so we want to make sure that the branches that are going to be holding the apple are going to be able to actually hold that, and we're pruning it accordingly as compared to a cherry tree that has much smaller fruit that it's holding onto. The next thing to think about is whether we're growing a rock fruit. A rock fruit tree is going to be pruned very differently from other fruit trees because rock fruits actually will grow fruit on the 1-year-old branches, whereas other fruits like apples will grow on older branches. Because when thinking about a rock fruit, we want to make sure that we're not cutting the newest branches or else we might not get fruit that year. So you do want to think about the type of tree and whether you want to be pruning for the long term or just pruning so that you're keeping and maintaining the area. Pruning is really important, not only to do the first year that you have your tree, but every single year you want to be going in, checking out your tree and pruning accordingly. Always checking out for diseases or anything that could be growing on your tree and pruning accordingly. This probably isn't your first video that you've watched on pruning, and you should be doing as much research as you can because pruning can be really stressful and scary. Cutting off a large portion of your tree sometimes is really frightening, especially because you've been keeping them for a while. So make sure that you do your work. You know exactly what type of pruning techniques you should be doing on that type of fruit tree. You have the right tools and you're always looking, maintaining, and keeping up with your pruning. I hope this is helpful. And if you want to learn more about pruning, comment down below and we'll share more on it. See you guys again next time. Bye.